Well, fans can be the harshest critics, you know.
And they often are.
A wife is often the harshest critic of her husband.
I thought I was invincible. That's what you're trained to believe as a sports person.
There was 4 million people in Ireland who knew much more about managing football teams than I did. When it comes to music, I can spoof at the best.
Your sporting career is the best time you'll have, and you know you have to hang on to it for as long as your life, because everything else is pretty crappy.
And this is not lies. Stephen Rochford has never spoken to Jim McGuinness in his life.
And you're welcome, Barry, back to Off the Ball Saturday here on News Talk. John Duggan with you through till 5 o'clock. You can text us on 53106. You can tweet us at Off the Ball. We're also streaming live as well. You can watch us on the Off the Ball social channels for Periscope on Twitter, at Off the Ball on YouTube, on Facebook, and on the new OTB Sports app for iOS and Android. Search OTB Sports in the App Store now to download it. So there's going to be a hurling championship from October until December, even if it's behind closed doors, even if it's not normal. I think by the time it comes around, we're going to love it. It is the greatest sport in the world, I would view it as. The GA managed through World War II. We can do this. But what do hurling folk think about it? The players, the managers involved in the game, the overall format of the championship going forward, the current club activity. Delighted to be joined on the Saturday panel this week to discuss it by the former All-Ireland winner with Kilkenny and the current Laois boss, Eddie Brennan, the long-serving Cork goalkeeper, Anthony Nash, and the Kerry boss, Fintan O'Connor. Lads, how are we doing?
Well, John, how's things?
Yeah, good, lads. It's been a long road. The last few months we've all come through it. Eddie, start with you. And you got Dublin first in the championship. It is knockout. How have the preparations been going? September the 14th, you're back training. You must be just chomping at the bit for that now.
Yeah, well, I suppose the preparations haven't been up to now. So the club has been in full swing everywhere and continues to be. So you're just, I suppose, really an observation brief, really, and just the odd little check-in with guys. It's I'd have to say, look, the last few weeks I found it just, I suppose, a bit frustrating, really, because at stages there you've made contingency plans and training schedules out, and it just keeps getting wiped. So I think at this stage you're just waiting to see what happens, and I think that sometimes I think when you know that you have something definite, then it focuses the mind a little bit more. So look, for me right now, it's just keeping tabs on lads in the club scene, and hoping that this championship goes ahead now, like is the reality of it. I think that's what we all want, and it's been just a very, very weird year.
Yeah, absolutely. And Fintan, you're involved in Kerry. Are you dealing a lot with club managers at the moment? Or are you kind of just trusting that the players will come back into your hands without any injuries and they'll be fit enough?
Exactly, and I suppose there's semi-finals on in Kerry tomorrow, so it'd be nice. I suppose sometimes it's nice to go and watch games without having the pressure of being directly involved yourself. So look, I've been watching the Kerry Championship closely and trying to, as Eddie said, just stay in touch with players as best you can and take in with them. And I suppose you're conscious as a manager that you don't want them to think you're kind of, I suppose, forgetting about them either. So you're nearly ringing them to the point of trying not to annoy them, but stay in touch with them and getting that balance right, I suppose, is important. And I suppose Anthony will probably touch on that. He's involved with Cork. I know they're doing well in the Cork Championship there, so I'm sure he's probably in both camps. And myself and Eddie are only worried about our own team, and it's, I suppose, probably more difficult for the players to be kind of worrying about both. Now, I think in fairness, the split championship has been really well received by everyone. I think I know I was involved in a small way with Forward Water in the Waterford Championship, and I know from talking to the lads that are involved county-wise there, they really enjoyed the freedom of being with their friends and be given the full run at the club championship. So I suppose that's great from that point of view. And I suppose when myself and Eddie do get back, and hopefully we will get back, I suppose we'll have probably a clear run at it too, which will be probably something new as well. So look, as Eddie said, it's just looking forward to getting it started, and hopefully touch wood, everything will go well.
Anthony, I've been chatting to Kieran Kingston much in the Rebel County about what you got looked forward to. Waterford in the championship first up. It's been a weird time, as Eddie said.
Yeah, like I suppose, look, it's been different for everyone. Kieran, in fairness, he kind of touches base every now and again, but nothing too major. He's very trusting of us. Like Fintan was saying there, I'm currently driving on McCann at the moment. Look, every player knows what if you're coming back out of shape, and the manager isn't going to consider you. If you're coming back injured, or obviously unfortunately with the new season, you're gone. So I suppose it's a lot put back into players. The only thing we have an issue down in Cork is that we're a dual county. So our championship actually isn't finished until the 4th of October, and then we're playing Waterford on the 31st of October. So that's the one thing we probably have a little bit of a problem. Like, so the lads are mentioning there about getting a clear run of it. Like, we'll still have fellas in county semi-finals and finals leading into October before we step out to the first round of the championship on the 31st. So look, it's not ideal, but I suppose everything this year is different, and COVID is after affecting every kind of setup and management and players and everything. So just have to try and deal with it as best we can.
And Eddie, has there been any kind of concern about players' conditioning with you, and any kind of injuries that they could be bringing back into the sphere by not being completely in your remit for enough time?
Yeah, I suppose that's the concern really, because look, with the height of respect to all the clubs, you know, some manage things a little bit better than others, and sometimes, you know, I think players as well will drive on and play injured sometimes. So it's just finding the balance. It's just finding that the communication is there, and that you're there if they need you. You know, in terms of monitoring fitness and stuff like that, I haven't anyway. We've kind of really left them alone. You know, at times they're, you know, you're just making sure that they're doing a bit, and once the clubs are really cranking up, and they have to, I suppose, when it comes to championship, they have to get lift off. So they're right in the middle of that. But, you know, Anthony just mentioned there about the challenges that are there. Look, in Cork, their county finals on the 4th of October, and Laois, ours is the following weekend. So that's a big concern. You know, it got shoved back 2 weeks because of the additional lockdown, and that'd be something that's definitely a huge frustration and a concern really when you're playing championship 2 weeks later. But as I said, look, that's the nature of the beast right now. But I suppose that's something I'd nearly throw back to Anthony as well, is like, you know, we're going to talk about a split season. I suppose club players, I would imagine they've really enjoyed this, having kind of a summer off. And I suppose they're in as maybe the thing we have to look at going forward, like is having that break to the year, having a definitive year that the clubs can get lads during a good time of the year for hurling.
Yeah, well, we'll put that to Anthony in a moment. Eddie, just on the fact there's not going to be any crowds, I can't really see it happening. I'll be surprised. Look, the pubs could be back in the middle of September. I'd be surprised to see crowds at GA matches. You don't know. We never know. This thing has been so fluid and changing. Are you okay with matches behind closed doors? I suppose it's better than nothing.
Yeah, it is. It's given the guys some hope, because look, I suppose the county player wants to, you know, see out the season, because otherwise all the, you know, they've kept themselves in good order. They're very well up to speed with stuff like that. I think at the elite level sports player, which all our intercounty fellas are, they crave those matches, and I suppose they're, you know, it's just been put on the long finger. So I think they want some form of, yeah, it will be weird. It will be like having a challenge match. You know, there last year we played Cork one Sunday morning up in Portlaoise, and you can hear the instructions, you can get instructions in very clearly. So in that regard, that'll be the plus. But it's just something, I suppose I'll be interested to see how that plays out, standing there and not having an atmosphere, because I think the atmosphere adds to it. The atmosphere creates more nerves and creates, you know, I suppose a different type of scenarios for lads as well, like, because when the crowd is there behind you, it can sometimes be a plus or a minus factor. But whatever it is, we'll gladly take it. Like I said, John, I share that view. I really, really do not think there will be any supporters at matches. There'll be nobody at matches, only the teams involved.
Anthony, Eddie was posing the question there. How's it been for you with a free running club recently?
Yeah, I think Eddie kind of touched on it there a while ago. Like, I'm a big believer in the split season myself anyway, and it's not just for club players like or anything like that. It's just, I think it allows the J to kind of have a set calendar. I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. I get to spend time with the lads that I wouldn't have spent before. We've run a current training us this year as well, like, so it's a good experience with us as well, having full contact with him as much as we can. So with the lockdown we couldn't, like, but I think it's a positive. Look, if you can talk about positives in COVID, like, you know, look, I share the same idea as you. I don't need to be crowds at matches. It's not ideal. Look, we'd love to have crowds, and, you know, I think the streaming has been as good as they can get, like, but I think, look, it's a more personal effect when there are people that are, like, you know, that live for the J. You know, there's probably more supporters, more passionate than some of the players, like, so it's very hard on them. But as a player, I suppose, as an outfielder, you'd love the crowd, but as a goalkeeper with a crowd in the terrace, you're probably not too disappointed they won't be there, because you're getting so many.
No slagging, Anthony.
So, like, it is what it is. I suppose we have to get on with it. The big thing for me at the moment, though, is that, look, we're able to hurl. But I think Eddie kind of touched it there a while ago, and I think the big word is if the championship goes ahead. Like, I still I don't know there's certainties. We haven't been given any certainties that's going ahead yet. So look, it's different. We're trying our best to do what we can, but I think it's after leading to the opportunity, the conversation of the split season. I think that's one positive to come out of it.
And you got Waterford up first, and you got 2 chances effectively, Anthony. Is there something that you're okay about this knockout format? It's better than nothing, and it might just throw up a few surprises this year.
In Intercounty, is it? Sorry.
Yeah, Intercounty, yes.
There. Yeah, like the new championship format, is it, John? Is it?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, sorry, because I just couldn't hear you there. Yeah, look, I like the championship format. It was back in 2016, I think it was last year. I like the idea of just one round game, get beaten. If you're beaten twice, you shouldn't be in the championship anyway, in my own opinion. It might be a bit old-fashioned, but so like we've an unbelievably tough draw now. As I said, like Waterford are probably finished in back training already September 14th if their championship done and dusted. So we're probably a little bit behind schedule now. We'll be about 3 or 4 weeks behind them. But so not only we get a tough draw, but like it's a tough championship to get out of Munster as well. So I like it. I like going back to this. No, I think the J probably will go back to maybe the round robin eventually again. But I think it just brings it back a bit more bite like that. You know, you get one Munster match. If you lose that, you're in against Leinster opposition straight away. So it does bring back the old-fashioned kind of not knockout, but almost. So again, I'm a big believer in that in that format. But I don't think it's here to stay from the talk. But maybe with the split seasons and stuff like that they might have it.
Yeah, Fintan, you got a lot to look forward to. You got a Division 2A final against Antrim that was meant to be held at Croke Park back in March before all this happened. And then you have the Joe McDonagh Cup, the round robin matches. You've got, Meath, Carlow, Westmeath to look forward to. You beat Offaly last year, you beat Westmeath, you're on an upward curve. So from a Kerry perspective, it's almost like you're going back to what you had originally. There's not that much being taken away.
No, look, I suppose we're probably, a bit different. That we probably have the same format as we would have had previously. I suppose from a Kerry point of view, this year's the change in the format in the Leinster and Munster Championship this year has afforded Kerry the opportunity to be nearly treated like everyone else. So in that, if we are lucky enough to win the Joe McDonagh, which is not obviously a given, but it'll mean that Kerry are treated like all the other counties and get out and get into the Leinster Championship next year, which is nice, I suppose, in a way. And look, definitely the league final was a huge disappointment at the time. Now, bearing in mind that what was going on, we can't really get too bogged down in it, but it was a big thing for the lads to get a chance to play in Croke Park. But look, hopefully, maybe in October or whenever they get it back up and running, that we get that chance again, you know.
How have you kind of got Kerry to where you are now? What has been the kind of secret to progressing Kerry over the last few years? When you think about, say, Kilkenny football, no disrespect, Eddie, or Kerry hurling, you don't think about them as the first thing in your mind when it comes to both sports?
Yeah, look, I as Anthony said, now I'm kind of hearing bits, but I got the gist of it. So I've been in Kerry. This is my 4th year in Kerry, and look, there's 8 clubs in Kerry, senior hurling championship. And then there's probably 3 standalone clubs in the intermediate, which means that you're probably picking from 11 clubs. So it's a very small base. But some of the hurling people in Kerry are hugely passionate about hurling. They love coming and supporting the hurling in Kerry. The club championship in Kerry is hugely competitive. And I suppose we're trying to make strides. Like, I'd be involved in Fitzgibbon and club hurling a lot. And I suppose I see the likes of Shane Conway coming through Fitzgibbon-wise in the last number of years. Barry Mahoney was in LIT last year playing Fitzgibbon as well. So I suppose the answer, we're trying to make strides all the time. Ultimately, we're playing Cork in the AA Under-20 Championship this year as well if it goes ahead in mid-October. So there is huge work being done in Kerry at underage level and development squad level in hurling. And look, I think that'll bear fruit in the years to come. And it's exciting to be part of that work and part of that project. And sometimes the results don't go our way, and in fairness to the lads, they just get on with it and try and go again. And look, the first year I was in Kerry, we kind of got relegated from 1B. It was hugely disappointing, and we just had to dust ourselves down and try and go again. And look, that's what we're doing all the time, and we get support from the county board and support from the clubs, and sometimes it's not always easy, but we just have to keep going, and that's the way it is. And I know Anthony talked about how late the championship was running in Cork there, and I suppose like last year the club month in April, because in Kerry there's so many football teams and so many competitions. The club month in April is used, and rightly so, for competitions for clubs and club players, and that left us in a situation where we were probably going up to play the first round of Joe McDonagh, having probably 4 days training with a team for that competition. So sometimes that's difficult, but you just have to, I suppose, play the cards that you're dealt and try and get on with it. And I think what COVID has done for a lot of people and a lot of teams is, I heard Noel McGrath being interviewed during the week, and someone asked him a question about, is he tired playing with a lot more week in, week out? And I thought his answer was brilliant. He just said, look, I'm delighted we're playing, and I'm delighted we're playing week in, week out, and I'm not tired. I was on the couch long enough over spring, kind of early summer, and he was just delighted to be out. And I think that's everyone's kind of approach to this. I can hear Anthony's excitement about playing with Kanturk and how much enjoyment he's getting out of it. I think that's the way a lot of GA players are now. We're probably in bonus territory with the competitions. Probably 2-3 months ago, we thought we wouldn't get to play any hurling. So every day we get out playing and supporting and following and looking at matches is a bonus, I think. And I think that's the way a lot of people are looking at it. So we're in Kerry, we're excited about what's coming. We're under no illusions, and hopefully things will go well for us.
Are you thriving in the club scene where you are, Eddie? Obviously, you're a Kilkenny man. Has the club championship picked up, as it should have? Has it been refreshing without the crowds? I know, but is it something that has got into the community? And you're obviously a guard that you've seen that this is a real positive, and you've seen the streaming, you've seen the local commentaries as well.
Yeah, definitely, John. I think some of the local commentators have definitely added a good flavour and some spicy stuff as well. So that side of it, look, we always try lean towards the positives and say, look, that's been good. I think it's brilliant because some of the elderly people maybe that are housebound now, they have access to the club scene. So therein is one big positive. Look, say, can we continue that for the likes of that? But I think definitely the biggest frustration of all that has probably been felt is that the people that love going to club matches, the guys that sit down when the local paper comes out and they plan out their Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday in terms of what matches they go to attend, they're obviously very, very disappointed at the moment. I'd say even borderline heartbroken, because that's what their week is based around, and that could be, a junior A match down in South Kilkenny or whatever it is, under 15 matches. We did under 15 Ryan County final there today. They're the matches that they love going to. So the streaming is the next best thing. But definitely, I think Anthony was on about the different positives that have come out of this. Yeah, I think it has probably made us all appreciate what we have a little bit more and put a real value on it, because I suppose sometimes when you're flat out busy, maybe you don't realise, to put the brakes on a little bit and reassess. And I think definitely COVID has made us do that. But I think it has also probably propelled forward the argument in a big, big way to organise our season, organise our yearly calendar. And I spoke with yourself there going back a while ago on this, or with Ger actually, and saying, look, this is something we need to look at. This is, if anything has come out of COVID, it has shown us it can be done. I think there's no need for anything more than maybe a 7 or 8 week pre-season for the likes of county competitions, then completely release lads back to their clubs. So there's definitely pluses coming out of it. It's just how quickly we can advance that, or how quickly we can progress that, because yes, it has brought everybody, amongst each other and looking out for each other a little bit more, without a doubt. And I think we've also seen, look, it's been said over and over that the GA is obviously a central strand to all that. And it's just having outlets, it's having social outlets. And I think we realise, look, the whole social scene of going to pubs and all that has definitely changed irreversibly, possibly. But I'd like to see maybe a little bit more progression on maybe how we can get access to matches outside of the streaming, because I think with crowds and that, we can definitely look at it. It just comes down to organising access to and from stadiums. But we have stadiums all over the country that would facilitate, bigger crowds. But obviously we're taking our guide from medical professionals, and I just think there's probably maybe we can do that slightly better at the moment.
OK, we've got to take a break. Eddie Brennan, Anthony Nash and Fintan O'Connor. Any questions for our panel on hurling, the format of the championship? Who's going to win the All-Ireland? Back shortly with more hurling talk with the Saturday panel. This is Off the Ball Saturday on News Talk. 53106 is the text number. Back after this.
The Saturday panel on Off the Ball. Come home to ultra-fast broadband and Sky's best ever Wi-Fi for our lowest ever price, from just €30 a month. So you can now play games, stream music and download movies at ultra-fast speeds for less than ever before. To switch from just €30 a month for 12 months, search Sky 30. Availability subject to location, setup fees, terms and conditions apply. For more info, see sky.ie/speeds.
You know that feeling you get when you sense a team's winning streak is about to end? Or when you know the pundits are getting it all wrong? That feeling? That's me. I'm your hunch. I was there back in Istanbul when you just knew the comeback was on. I'm the guy that tells you when the odds don't look so odd. I'm your hunch. It's time to start listening.
Heed your hunch with Betway. Download the app to find out more about Betway's Bet Club. Full terms apply. 18 plus Dunlewy.net. Bet the responsible way.
Book your next relaxing staycation at The Heritage, located just off the M7 close to Kildare Village in Killinard, County Laois. Indulge in a day of relaxation at one of Ireland's leading spas with treatments from Spa and Voya. Enjoy a classic movie night in our in-house cinema or a scenic stroll along our picturesque walking trail. The Heritage, your own kind of perfect. Discover more at theheritage.com.
I hear you some wiring needs a fixing, ma'am. The name's Buzz, on account of my work.
No chance.
Not all cowboys ride horses. All safe electric registered electrical contractors must give you a certificate of completion that shows their work meets approved standards. Find one nearby on safeelectric.ie.
This week at Tesco, we've got value with meal planning in mind. Spice up your evening with our range of El Paso kits, just €3 each. Add Tesco round steak mince 554 gram or Tesco mini chicken fillets 450 gram, any 3 for €10. How about an after dinner cuppa? We've got Lavazza Qualita Rossa ground coffee, 250 gram twin pack, 2 for €10. And Lion's original label tea bags, 240 pack, also 2 for €10. Tesco, every little helps.
Next up on the tee, the RFU Charitable Trust and Pinergy.
Join me, Luke Fitzgerald, for the IRFU Charitable Trust golf outing in aid of our seriously injured rugby players, kindly supported by Pinergy. That's energy with insight. The outing takes place in Powerscourt Golf Club on Friday the 25th of September with great prizes, a charity raffle and gourmet barbecue with special guests. To book your team, please contact Linda Black on 01 64 73 866.
Afternoons are easy with InsureMyVan.ie, Ireland's low-cost van insurance specialist. Get your business back on the road with InsureMyVan's best price guarantee. For super savings, visit InsureMyVan.ie. City Financial Marketing Group Limited, trading as InsureMyVan.ie, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Hi, PJ here from PH Ross. Having a space to call home is like having a sanctuary, somewhere to express our personality through design choices we make. At PH Ross, we love helping our customers create their dream bathroom, a space that complements their busy lifestyle and reflects their personality. Some would call it a design collaboration. We like to think it's the start of a beautiful friendship. If you're lucky enough to have a space to call home, talk to us at PH Ross on the Old Harbour Road or visit phross.ie. Our autumn sale is now on.
This place has borne witness to the birth and rebirth of our nation, to the triumphs and tribulations that have made us what we are today. This place is where our finest writers, thinkers and entertainers have found their words read and their voices heard, and where countless generations have come to learn, to discover, to read and be inspired. This place is Eason, Ireland's favourite bookseller since 1886, inspiring and engaging minds of all ages through the best of times, the worst of times, and as we face the next chapter together for all our times to come. So join us in store at your local Eason or online at easons.com. Eason, be inspired.
On 106 to 108 FM, on newstalk.com, on smart speaker, and on the Newstalk app. This is Newstalk.
It's 2 o'clock. Good afternoon. Debenhams workers are holding a series of nationwide protests this afternoon in an escalation of their campaign for better redundancy terms. They've described a new €1 million deal being proposed by liquidators and their union as a slap in the face. Shop steward at Debenhams' former store in Cork City, Valerie Conlon, says they're determined to reject the offer.
The point of this afternoon is different now compared to what it was, because before we were planning this, we had no offer. But today now people will be telling Mandate and KPMG that we will not be accepting what they are trying to force upon us.
High-level discussions are underway aimed at allowing wet pubs to reopen later this month. Draft guidelines for the sector have been drawn up by the Department of Health and are in the process of being shared with industry representatives. The reopening of all pubs is expected to coincide with the release of the government's new long-term plan for dealing with COVID-19 on September 14th. CEO of the Licensed Vintners Association, Donal O'Keefe, says it's important there's no confusion over the rules when they do reopen.
All hospitality businesses, whether they are pubs, restaurants or hotels, should face the same guidelines, the same restrictions and have the same opportunity to trade. So a critical issue for us now is that wet pubs do not face any additional restrictions. They should face the same guidelines as pubs that serve food, hotels and restaurants.
The head of the HSE says 14,000 COVID-19 tests were carried out on Thursday, a new daily record. It comes as 2 new pop-up testing centres open in Dublin today at Croke Park and Castleknock. They'll be able to test up to 200 people per day. And a motorcyclist in his 20s has been killed in a crash in County Offaly. It happened shortly after 10 a.m. on the R401 near Edenderry. The man's body has been taken to the mortuary at Tullamore Hospital, where a post-mortem will be carried out. The road is currently closed and Gardaí are appealing for witnesses to contact them. It's coming up to 2 minutes past 2.
News Talk Weather.
Thanks to the AA. Download the new AA app to request a roadside rescue and track the patrol right to your car.
Sunny spells and scattered showers. They'll be heaviest over the northern half of the country. Maximum temperatures of 14 to 17 degrees. And now you're up to date on News Talk.
The Saturday panel on Off the Ball.
You are welcome back to Off the Ball Saturday on News Talk. John Duggan with you through till 5 o'clock. You can text us 53106. You can tweet us at Off the Ball. We're streaming live as well now. You can watch us on the social channels for Periscope, on Twitter at Off the Ball, on YouTube, on Facebook and on the new OTB Sports app for iOS and Android. Search OTB Sports in your app store to download it. We're talking hurling on the Saturday panel this week with the former All-Ireland winner with Kilkenny and the current Laois boss Eddie Brennan, with the long-serving goalkeeper Anthony Nash from Cork and the Kerry boss Fintan O'Connor. Lads, it's looking more and more likely after COVID that we're going to have a split season potentially between the Intercounty Championship and the club. Your general thoughts on that? Is that something you're going to welcome? Anthony, start with you on that one.
Yeah, the big thing for me is that I think it's after clarity of fixtures, so I know exactly when Cantork are playing. Like, we've the lads of football tonight. No, I don't play football, so, and I know Sunday week we're playing championship, so I think the one positive it might come from it is that you have a set calendar, and I think anybody that's club only or county and club, whatever, they can set their year and they know exactly what's going on. The other positive then is from, let's say Eddie was mentioned there, 6 or 7 or 8 weeks of a pre-season, that I believe that the county should go first, for the simple reason is when a dual county like us, it's not that it takes priority, but what it does is it allows counties just to have their set season, get their players fit, whatever exactly, and we go back to the clubs in and have 2 or 3 week lead into championship, and then again you have a situation where we don't have a county final being fast forward by one county board and the other being played properly, so I think it allows a set season. The only negative that I can see coming out of it is and the likes of Eddie be perfect for this kind of committee. They should have a player or a recently retired player involved in management involved in setting this, because Fintan mentioned a while ago that he watches Fitzgibbon or is involved in Fitzgibbon, and last year we had Shane Kingston, for example, who had inter-county hurling, club hurling and Fitzgibbon hurling. So where those competitions are all going to fit into the set seasons, and then without one biting at the other and stuff, and fellas getting burnt out for the likes of me who's on the other side of the hill. I suppose it's a little bit easier because I only have to concentrate on the 2 teams, but if you have another 21 player that is playing Fitzgibbon, and senior hurling with his county, and going back to the club then as well, it's just a set calendar would have to be made out by people that are on the ground. And as I said, Eddie, the likes of Eddie, a current manager, a recently retired county player, and has been on both sides of the fence, would be great, because those opinions are vital for us, and the more player input, because for me, COVID, the positive I've had is that I've been able to spend a little bit more time at home, It has allowed me to play a bit more golf, and get out and about a small bit more, because I don't have Cork bringing me 1 second, can't Cork bring me next second, and being 2 different training sessions or during the week, So I think something like that could lead to be positive once the calendar is good and set,
A scratch golfer, I'm sure now, Anthony. Eddie, if you were on that task force, would you advocate this split season?
Yeah, absolutely, John. It's something, look, I spoke about already with OTB before about this, and it kind of echoes what Anthony is saying there of getting people involved that are stakeholders in this process, and put them around the table, put a few different options there and see if we can come up with the best possible option. And I think some of the stuff Anthony touched on there is the stuff that I would feel strongly about is, let's reduce the amount of training in relation to matches. I think Michael Duggan said before that there was one match to every 14 training sessions, which is just outrageous when you think of it, really. And all it is everybody in pursuit of that extra edge. But I just think if we can find a good workable calendar, and that might not happen in over 2 seasons, it might take little tweaks here and there, but I think allowing players to live a life outside of hurling as well. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, we love the elite level. As a player, you love that training, you love getting out to the big days, championship leagues, whatever it is. But also, if there's one thing you do dislike, it's the volume of training. So I think if we can reduce the amount of training that lads are having to do, and have maybe your competitions over maybe smaller windows, your National League. If you have 5 matches for a National League, why not have that over 6-7 weeks? Started maybe the middle of February, have it done and dusted towards the end of March, allow the players back to their clubs for a little while, and then lift into championship. And again, have your championship like the round robin somewhat, that you have it week on week, and over 5 or 6 weeks you get all your matches played off, and compress it a little bit. And that just allows players and management and people involved space to breathe, switch off, come down from that, and then build it back up again. But we need to move on that, because we've been talking about it long enough now. And I know, as I said, I mentioned already, Pádraig Fanning I met with him one evening and we discussed this about trying to put a calendar in place. And I just think, I absolutely endorse what Anthony is saying, and I've been saying it. Let's put a working group together, and you'd love the GA to do what I said before about John Hearn. Maybe this could be his legacy before he signs off, of putting together the starting or the foundations to consolidate a calendar year and keep everybody happy, because we've seen the best of the club now. Let's give that air to breathe as well, and give it an equal platform with our county competition.
On that with Eddie, the one thing there I'd say, John, is at the moment, some intercounty players by the spectators would be kind of, supporters are kind of seen as, the negative, that we're only intercounty. Now every supporter can see that we are club and county, you know what I mean? So by the split season, I'm Anthony Nash, the Cork hurler, from, let's say, for example, February to July, or whatever the season is. And after that, then I'm Anthony Nash, the Cork hurler. And at that stage, then I can commit myself to both teams 100%. And I also think a big thing for the club player is that, you often hear club players are back training in December and January, and if you're a junior club, your championship might be until July or whatever like that. Allow them the time then to maybe come back in March and April, where a club player can have more of an off season as well, because, like Eddie said, I suppose the intercounty player is more elite. And look, we're not being paid, but it is our job to go back in the winter, to get fit, to get into the gyms, to do whatever we want to do, because we have to, So we'd be more committed to doing that. And then, like Eddie said, the games, there was a GPA thing sent out 2 years ago. What do we want? More games. And next thing, all of a sudden, we got more games. We got more games in January, And that's not what we want. We want to be playing hurling in the peak of the summer. That's the biggest loss for me with Intercounty this year, is that it's going to be winter hurling, which is, it is what it is. But you get to go to your club week in, week out this year, and you're playing games and games, and you might have only one training session during the week to recover and get going again. And that's, for me, I think that's what players want anyway. And Eddie was saying there's that amount of trainings to matches is not right, and we seem to be the only sport that does it.
Fintan,
and I think what you don't want is the managers being pitted against each other. Sorry, John. I think that's what has come out of this earlier in the year and over the last few years, is where you have the managers butting heads and pulling and dragging over, and players being at the centre of that argument. That's what you don't want.
Big time.
Yeah, and I think the split season, like Anthony said, I know the club month has been. It was I suppose it was a compromise, but the club month was it was the club month by name, but a lot of counties weren't using the club month, so there was no real fairness in it. Some counties had a club month, but there was no real competitive game. So the county team were just training during it. Then other counties were stuck where the club month was an actual real club month and they had no training during it. So I think uniformity in the whole thing is very important as well. And I think this year uniformity was nearly enforced upon us because of COVID. And it probably meant that managers probably couldn't butt heads, like what Eddie was saying. You weren't pitting managers against each other. You just knew, look, this is the way it has to be. And it made the players probably job a little bit easier as well. I know Anthony's talking about being a Cork player and a Cantork player. I know from being involved in club management, sometimes when you're training the club team, the lift it gives you when your county players come back training, like the night's training, you have no county players there. The lads that are there don't have the same kind of, I suppose, graft or intensity. And then the boys arrive back, I suppose, the superstars of your club team, and they talk better, they drive everyone on a bit better, they encourage everyone, and everyone's in better form when they're around. So that's what COVID done this summer for club teams. And I know firsthand from looking at the boys in Foral Water that when they arrived training, that buzz was there for every club training this year. And that was a lovely thing for the club players. And I 100% understand what Anthony is saying too. When you're a Cork player, it's nice to have that in a kind of a nearly sectioned off. That it's very hard for a player to be dragged here and there and everywhere. And it's very hard, as Eddie said, to have managers butting heads and going, oh, I need my players here and I need them here and we're playing here. And I don't think that helps anyone. So I think the sooner there's kind of uniformity and everyone knows where they stand and there's a definite 26 weeks here and 26 weeks there or 10 weeks and everyone knows that's club, that's intercounty, that's for the benefit of everyone. And I think and I know I have a graph for the Fitzgibbon as well, and Anthony touched on Shane Kingston, and he was outstanding for UCC in the Fitzgibbon this year. When I had Shane Conway, now we don't have a huge amount of Fitzgibbon hurlers in Kerry, so maybe it's easier for me to make that call, but I would have said to Shane when he was playing for Fitzgibbon, look, you just go away and enjoy your Fitzgibbon and hurl away with UCC, and look, he got massive benefit out of that last year and this year again. But I think intercounty managers sometimes have to make that call if they can to try and nearly leave the lads off at times. And maybe if the calendar was organised properly, there'd be no need for people to make that call. It'd be just a given that'll happen. And I think players will really appreciate that, and probably managers will appreciate it too, you know.
And the big thing uniformity will bring as well is that, like, we'll get an off season. Like, where players need an off season, they'll get an off season. We don't mind going into the gym individually and stuff like that, but you've a set off season as well, and you get the text from your manager at home saying, we can't talk, look, I know you're training with Cork this week 3 or 4 nights, but will you call down and show your face? Like, you're doing nothing, but it's still a night out of your routine, you know what I mean, or a night away from home or everything like that. So that's a big thing for me as well in that.
And it's important to keep the other half happy as well.
Absolutely, lads.
As a slight little thing,
As the standard improved, Anthony, with the fact that the club championships have had all the players available?
Yeah, look, like I think Fintan said it there a while ago. Like, I know for a fact that, like, see, we in Cantork alone, we have, like, myself, Aidan Walsh, Lorcan McLaughlin would have been involved in Cork, Darren Brown would have been involved in Cork. We've 2 lads that are involved in the Cork 20s hurling and football and stuff like that. When we're not around, we'd only have 13 or 14 in training. So all of a sudden, the manager is, you know, kind of at a loss straight away because he's small numbers, whether we're, you know, when we're not there. But I feel the club championship this year has been brilliant because, you know, like, everyone's just focused. You can be more professional. Like, we're lucky, as I said, we've Ronan Curran, extremely professional guy, so he's able to concentrate and give us game plans without just seeing us one night before championship or 1 week. So like, down in Cork anyway, I feel like, I know our referees are getting slated left, right and centre because we're not as tough as Eddie's crowds, but I think that, like, the championship below has been a positive for me anyway, and I watch all the streaming games as well as much as I can. And do you know, lads seem to be expressing themselves a bit more as well because, you know, we're enjoying it, we're back with our clubs, we're giving it our all. You know, and like, I suppose we're trying to impress Kieran as well, you know, because he's only, like Fintan was saying there a while ago on Eddie, they're just watching championships, and that's where a lot of team selections are going to come from this year.
Let me just be devil's advocate for a second, guys. Say you do run a hurling championship. I don't think there's anything wrong with the structure of the hurling championship, and I think the round robin has been brilliant in Leinster, Munster. Obviously, Fintan, you got all these Joe McDonough games. You had them last year, Eddie. I think the structure is right generally in hurling at the moment. It doesn't have the surgery that football requires, that I think football should be going to a league structure. But say if you run a championship in hurling between, say, February and July, and then you got a club championship for the rest of the year, is the club championship appealing enough to the public for really GA to be in the shadow of soccer and rugby coverage between, say, August and December. Like, you had less than 30,000 people at an average club final on Patrick's Day, a national holiday, for many years. Is that a worry, or is it something that we could maybe just try and bump up the attention and the impact of the club championship by shining more of a light on it?
Yeah, it's going to be that'll be tough, I know, because obviously weather dictates a lot of supporters and stuff going to games, you know. So, like the league games, there obviously wouldn't have the same crowds because of. But I think the rewards for like something that Jay could look at there is making the league a more appealing. Like, look, I'm not knocking the league in any way, like, but you know, like if you could put a bit more importance or more reward on winning the league as well, you know, you're kind of getting more crowds into that. And then when it comes to the championship itself, like if Eddie was saying there, you could get the games. I don't know how many weeks you could run them off, but like if you're starting your championship in May, please God, in Ireland, you know, I know I can't say the weather would be good. You'd have championship May, June, into July, bang, gone. You would still get the same amount of crowds. When it comes to the second part of the season, like, I don't think we're going to have the same numbers, obviously, as intercounty matches, but what we will have is, again, all the intercounty players going back to the club in a more personal feel. And that's what we thrive on in the J, more personal feel, where the people, please God, supporters come back in. They can run in onto the fields, the TJ Reeds, the Joe Cannings, the Patrick Horgans, the young fellas can meet them, you know, get their autographs signed, do everything like that. And then the spectators get to see them in more close-up setting as well. So there's nothing wrong with that either. I think once you have the championship done, it's the same year as always. I don't want to be competing. I think Eddie was on about the streaming earlier. I think that's something that some companies can look at, and maybe some of the club games are as good as any inter-county game, you know. And you have a choice of however many counties to pick from as well. So, like, it's not that you have to watch Kilkenny versus Wexford or Cork versus Waterford or anything like that. You get a choice of a TV or a streaming company to pick the best club game in all of Ireland at that one given weekend. And people love it, you know. So I think, look, yeah, we mightn't get the same kind of, you know, turnouts and stuff like that. But, like, I think that will actually big, you know, would definitely benefit the club season and maybe make it even a bigger competition, you know.
Guys, just to finish up, it's been a tricky time for you, Eddie. You're in the Gardaí, so you're kind of you moved back to the college now.
Yeah, back to the routine life again after a bit of a sabbatical down in Waterford City. So yeah, look, I was making sure that Ken McGrath and John Milan and co were keeping COVID compliant. So yeah, it was something different. It was something a little bit refreshing. It was as we say, it was nice to be released back out into the wild again for a little while and see what it's like out there. But look, it was a great way, like you said, I mentioned it earlier on, John, about, you know, I suppose communities coming together a little bit more and looking out for each other. That has what has been the big winner of the COVID situation. It has meant that we're looking around a little bit more and putting values on the small things in life. And like I said, if that's the big thing that has come out of this, then that's brilliant, because it just means people are more alive to each other in the communities. But yeah, look, sure, it's like Anthony too. I think, like Anthony said it there, you know, on the more than Fintan. Right now, the club is in full swing and it's wrapping up. You know, in Wexford it's wrapped up, and in other places it's catching up. So I think for us, we all love a little bit of routine in our lives, and if that is training 1, 2 or 3 times a week and a match, looking forward to a match, then that's what makes the winter evenings go a little bit shorter. So please God, we'll get a championship now, and it'll be something to keep us all ticking over on these long winter nights.
And Anthony, you've been teaching. Anthony, you leaving starts out on Monday.
Yeah, we started back. Yeah, it's tougher. Like, the only thing I'd say about the championship there, and I forgot to mention earlier, apologies, no, is that they'll have to address in the intercounty season whether about testing and stuff, because I think it was mentioned that if a player has COVID, that your team step aside. Now, I know we probably don't have time to talk about it today, but that's something I'd like the J to address a bit more, because I am a teacher, like you said. I'm going into 360 students, and next thing, if I do contract it, the rest of my teammates lose out for the year, which is something that's not fair, because, you know, there's a stigma out there that if I get COVID, I've been complacent or something like that. It might not be the case. It's just someone would have carried it in and brought it in, you know. So that's one thing. But inside in schools, yeah, we're just adapting it to it like we are in any form of life, really, like Eddie with the guards and stuff. So trying our best to do it. But I just hope that, you know, me being inside in a close setting with people and stuff like that doesn't affect my intercounty teammates. You know?
Yeah, and Fintan, you're in the same boat. You're also teaching.
Yes, I'm a secondary school teacher as well, and I suppose I'm working with I work in the autistic unit in school now. I'm in a school of 840, but we've 11 kids currently in a autism unit in Lismore and Blackwater Community School, and I suppose they're probably thrown out a little bit more than most by this whole COVID and the protocols around it, and and stuff. So look, it's very difficult for them going back to school and trying to get them to settle in and get used to the new normal. And when kids are autistic kids, I suppose, are known for routines and having very set routines, so it's very difficult on them. So look, I suppose it puts in perspective, I suppose, what's important when you see how upset and thrown off kids have been by the whole thing, and not just the kids in my unit. The kids going back to school in general are very, like, I suppose you can see the little worried heads on them coming into school. That just everything is so different. They're wearing face masks. Their teacher is behind a plastic screen. It's just so different. And I suppose I think Anthony already said routine, and having a routine and having something to look forward to is huge. And if the GA can provide that by having a championship, it'll be great. But only if, as Anthony said, if they can provide it with some kind of, I suppose, not guarantee, but some. The players are important, and the people involved in the championship, once they're looked after and minded and treated with the respect that they should be, it's very important as well, you know.
Well said, Fintan. Unfortunately, lads, so we'd love to talk more, but we run out of time. Fintan O'Connor, Anthony Nash, Eddie Brennan, it'd be great sport to share your thoughts on hurling at the moment. And thanks for speaking to us on the Saturday panel this afternoon.
Yes, thanks.
No bother, John. Thank you. Have a good day.
OK, this is Off the Ball Saturday on News Talk. Back after this with Jessica Harrington.
Off the Ball on News Talk. News Talk Breakfast with Ciara Kelly and Shane Coleman.
Shane, what's your view? You're a man. Would you ever go on to the likes of OnlyFans?
I wouldn't. And look, if people want to do it, grand, it's a free country. But please, spare me the empowerment cliches. And it is just a cliche.
I don't think it's entirely cliched. These are women who are saying, do you know what? If I work in porn, if I work in sex work, there's probably a man somewhere taking a slice of this money. I can put up a picture of me, I get the money, and I'm taking back control.
News Talk Breakfast with Ciara Kelly and Shane Coleman.
In association with AIR.
Weekday mornings at 7 on News Talk.
At Laois Healthcare, we always want to give our members more. So now you get unrestricted access to a world of benefits that will help you stay healthy. From convenient video calls with a GP to get prescriptions online, to easy access to experts when you finally want to do something about your ropey knee or dodgy back. And if you do need to see someone urgently, our clinics are available for minor injuries, all without you needing to put your hand in your pocket. Let's stay on top of your health, in every way. Laois Healthcare, looking after you always.
Insurance provided by Ellipse Insurance Limited, trading as Laois Healthcare. Laois Healthcare Limited, trading as Laois Healthcare, and Laois Life is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. Unrestricted benefits are available until the end of December. Fair usage policy applies.
You're at the edge of the world, atop a mountainous cliffside trail on the Causeway coastal route, with an everlasting horizon stretching out to sea beyond. Behind you, the ruins of Dunluce Castle. Below you, gigantic crashing waves. You think, we're never going to forget a view like this. Sure, if we want, we could be back up next weekend. Book your next family getaway at discovernorthernireland.com. Northern Ireland, a small step to a giant adventure.
Get closer to your cooking with Neff. For a limited time, claim a free set of induction pots worth €149 when you buy a selected Neff induction hob. For more information, go to paracity.ie to click and collect today.
We've got back to school sorted, all under one roof at Dunnes Stores. With great value on fridge fillers like Petit Filou 6-packs, half price. And kids' favourites like Robinson Fruit Shoot 4-packs and selected Kellogg's cereals, also half price. Plus, with our 10 off 50 grocery voucher, you save even more. Dunnes Stores, always better value. Terms and conditions apply. Voucher can be used on next grocery shop of €50 or more.
Psychology, performance analysis, sports therapy and coaching all contribute to elite performance in sport. At Portobello Institute, we offer full-time and blended learning honours degrees in each of these sporting disciplines. Affordable and accessible online study, small group lectures and practicals are now enrolling at Portobello Institute. So talk to an expert about our full-time and blended learning sports degree courses at our virtual open sessions. Visit portobelloinstitute.com for details.
We all need to know the signs of COVID-19 and what to do if we feel sick. So if you have a cough, fever, breathing difficulties, or experience changes in your sense of taste or smell, it might mean you have COVID-19 and you could pass it on to others. If you have any symptoms, self-isolate to protect others and phone your GP for a free coronavirus consultation. If you need a COVID-19 test, that's free too. And if you don't, you'll feel better for having protected others. Because COVID-19 is still a problem, and we're all the answer. From the HSE.
This place has borne witness to the birth and rebirth of our nation, to the triumphs and tribulations that have made us what we are today. This place is where our finest writers, thinkers, and entertainers have found their words read and their voices heard, and where countless generations have come to learn, to discover, to read and be inspired. This place is Eason, Ireland's favourite bookseller since 1886, inspiring and engaging minds of all ages through the best of times, the worst of times, and as we face the next chapter together for all our times to come. So join us in store at your local Eason or online at easons.com. Eason, be inspired.
Get ready for the most incredible cinematic experience of the decade from director Christopher Nolan.
All I have is a word. Tenet. It'll open the right doors, some of the wrong ones too.
It's Bond on acid. Critics are calling it spectacular, epic, a masterpiece. See it on the biggest screen you can.
We're trying to prevent World War III.
Nuclear holocaust.
No, something worse.
Tenet. In cinemas now. Certificate 12A.
Get the latest 5G smartphones from free with Air Mobile. Choose between the Samsung Galaxy A51 5G or the Samsung Galaxy S20 5G. Enjoy no limits data, plus unlimited calls and texts from just $49.99 a month. And get everything you love, but better and faster on Ireland's largest 5G network. For more, go in store or visit air.ie. Unlimited allowances subject to fair use. Available on selected Air Mobile plans. For full terms, see air.ie.
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
Welcome back to Off the Ball Saturday on News Talk. John Duggan with you through until 5 o'clock. We've got a goal in the top of the table clash in the League of Ireland Premier Division. Shamrock Rovers against Bohemians with the details from Tallaght Stadium. Stephen Doyle.
Yes, John, that goal came very early in the 4th minute. Graham Burke coming in off the right wing, putting a left-footed cross. One of those in-swinging crosses that really troubles defence. It got through all the green and white and red and black bodies in the box, came out the far side towards the far post of the goal, and Bohemians keeper Steve McGuinness did very well to palm the ball away, but unfortunately for him, like all good left wing backs, Danny Lafferty was coming in there for Shamrock Rovers at the back post and poked it home. That's his first goal for Rovers. What a big goal that could be for him this afternoon and for the club, because that will put them 5 points there at the top of the table. You'd have to say since then Shamrock Rovers have really controlled the game without creating too many clear-cut chances. Bohemians had a chance themselves earlier on before that goal. Andre Wright, after some good work between himself and Danny Grant down that right side, he had a shot from the edge of the box which stung the palms of Alan Mannis, who had no real trouble in saving that. But as I said, Rovers really controlling the game here. Bohemians trying to play them on the break, but they're not getting too much space in the final third when they do get up there. Shamrock Rovers defending very well. But we've got just approaching nearly the 30-minute mark here, John. It's Shamrock Rovers 1, Bohemians 0.
OK, Stephen, we'll have more from Tallaght Stadium throughout the afternoon. So Ireland's Premier Flat Racing Festival, a Longines Champions Weekend, takes place next weekend at Leopardstown on Saturday the 12th of September and the Curragh on Sunday the 13th. 6 Group 1 races from the 16 days, 16 races even over the 2 days. So joining us on the line to discuss what's going to be some brilliant racing fare is the top dual-purpose trainer, Jessica Harrington. Jessica, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
How have you managed, Jessica, to manage through all this COVID-19, the restrictions around racing? What have been the most challenging aspects for you?
Listen, as long as the racing kept going, we didn't mind once we got racing back. And we were racing again. The fact that we, to start with, I couldn't go racing because I was too old, but a little bit annoying. But, that's gone round. And look, basically any of us would want to do, what we wanted to do was get racing back, have it safe for everybody in the racing, and keep the sport going, because it's not just the racehorses, it's the whole industry as well.
Absolutely, Jessica. So Champions Weekend next weekend. How are you preparing for that? How many entries will you have? Who are you looking forward to running?
I'm looking forward to it because it's a great weekend. It'll be strange this weekend. Normally, it's it's a big occasion. It's like a Cheltenham Festival, a fairy house at Easter. A Galway. It's a big weekend. People, big crowds, people getting dressed up. Hopefully, good weather and a very, very good racing. So this year will be very strange. We still got the very, very good racing, but without any crowds.
Yeah, it's difficult, Jessica. When I think you, Jessica, many times I've interviewed you in Cheltenham in the Winners' Enclosure, like the Moscow Flyer, Sizing John. How have you found training flat horses by comparison?
Well, look, it's grand. You look, if you're lucky enough to have good horses, they give you a great reason to get up in the morning and keep on going. Flat horses, yes, I love training them. Sure, look, everybody loves training everything that can win.
Absolutely. So the Saturday at Leopardstown, we remember that amazing race between Fantastic Light and Galileo in the Champion Stakes all those years ago. You've got Alpine Star, this filly, in this one. Tell us about her.
Well, she's very, very well bred. She's a half sister to the star filly I had 2 years ago, Alpha Centauri, who won four Group 1s, and Alpine Star is not. She's funny that they're not very alike, the two half sisters. Alpha Centauri was a great big imposing filly, and this filly is quite neat, not a great colour. You wouldn't pick her out, you wouldn't see them trotting around the ring before they cantered, and you wouldn't ever pick her out. She just goes about her business, but she's very talented, and she has probably a heart twice as big as herself.
She could have Godolphin's Gaiath and Aidan O'Brien's Magical to overcome. It's always a very competitive race, one of the top races in the world.
Yeah, and actually, funnily enough, it will be. The last few years that the Irish Champion Stakes, I think on ratings, has come out very nearly one of the top race of the year every year, or very close to it. So it's got a history of being a very good race. And I'm very excited to have something good enough to compete in it.
Absolutely. Now, Sunday you've entered Lucky Vega in the National Stakes. 2-year-olds can be a little bit unpredictable, but this horse is really impressive the last day.
Yeah, he was very good. He's only run 3 times in his life. He won first time out. He just got beaten the second time up the car, and he won very impressively the last time. Listen, he's only a baby. He's only 2. He's learning his trade, and I hope he's come on from his last one.
Now, in the same race, you've got Cadillac. This horse cost €40,000, owned by a syndicate, Alpha Racing 2020. That is a bit of a dream for them, Jessica. A horse in a Group 1?
Yeah, but he actually probably won't run in that race. He's going to run in Leopardstown on the Saturday in a Group 3. But still, it's fantastic. He won first time out, and he was just beaten at the car a couple of weeks ago in a Group 2. So he's progressing. And I hope that he'll do the business for the syndicate on the Saturday, which will be very exciting.
And do you have Albania, I think, on the Saturday, running in the Group 2, her chances?
Yes, Albania is going to run in the Group 1, the Matron Stakes.
Yeah, the Matron Stakes.
The Matron Stakes, and then I've also got in that ballerina Messalina, who was just beaten at Goodwood last time out. And then on the Sunday, I've got Cayenne Pepper and probably maybe one voice in the Blandford Jewel Stakes.
And when you're looking sizing up a good flat horse, Jessica, what are you looking for when you've had Alpha Centauri and Alpine Star now pass through your hands? How do you know that these horses are really at the top of their game? Well,
listen, they're all different. They're a bit like children. They come in and they're a bit raw and a bit unruly, and slowly you get a handle on them. And the good ones, they tend to rise up. They all do the same work, and they're the ones that every morning say, "Oops, what was that?" And as they go past you, it's all in. You watch them, and you look at them, and you just sort of hope that they'll all just they'll fulfil their potential, because they all start at the same level, and as they say, the cream rises to the top.
Well, Jessica, we wish you the very best of luck on Champions Weekend. Leopardstown next Saturday, then the Curragh on Sunday. We'll be watching at home. Obviously, we can't go on TV, and hopefully we'll see you in the Winners' Enclosure.
All right, and I hope I get there even with one. Would be absolutely brilliant. To get one winner over the weekend would be fantastic. It's a great weekend, and everyone watch it. You can't be there this year, but watch it, because it will be terrific racing.
Well, thanks so much, Jessica Harrington. Moon and Kildare, brilliant dual-purpose trainer on the line there. Now, remember, as you're binging on sport this weekend, to pick out your biggest pressure moment or play, player or manager most under pressure across all the weekend sport, and send us in a short video or message explaining your choice. If your selection matches our top pick on the Gillette Pressure Rankings on Monday's OTB AM, then you're in the chance of winning a Gillette Pro Glide Razor, Skin Guard Shaving Gel and Pro Glide Refill Blades Pack. Send your video or message to OTB on any of our social channels or on WhatsApp to 0879 180 180. That is 0879 180 180. We'll pick up